Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley. Of course it is. Of course it's me. And the biscuiteer joining me today is our Shane. How's it going, sir?
I'm not bad. Same stuff, different day. I need saw then.
Do you know what that happened to me in the studio? We had Martha in. We had Martha in from Martha Lily Photography, and we were having such a relaxed chat. I dropped an F-bomb on my own show. I haven't done that in such a long time. Obviously, I'll edit it out.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I mean, I do an R-rated show as well as this. I do one where it is a bit more sweary. And it's actually a compliment when I do drop an accidental F-bomb. It's a compliment to whoever's I'm interviewing, because it means I'm really comfortable and relaxed, because that's what I'll do when I'm with the guys. It's just weird. It's a weird thing to say as a compliment, but yeah, it happened. So I'm sorry, Martha. These things happen. I say to people, I was just explaining to our guest now, saying, "Oh yeah, we're a family-friendly show, so please don't swear." And then me last week was like, "Beep beep beep."
To be honest, I'm quite shocked that I'm able to hold a conversation without swearing, because it is a little bit. It comes so easily to me, and I have to really think about what I'm saying to stop myself doing it.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult.
The two networks I got are two different beasts, absolutely. Anyway, let's introduce our guest. Our guest today has been all over the place, really. He's been in the paper, he's been on YouTube's, on social media, and we really wanted to find out about him, because he's making a noise in a real good, positive way. And that's Brendan James. Thank you very much for joining us, Brendan.
That's my pleasure. It is good to be on my first ever podcast with you guys. So this is my podcast virginity being lost.
Yay! Biscuit before the BBC. That's what we get there before the BBC do.
Yeah.
Yay! Another win for us. How are you, sir? You been okay?
Yes, I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, I've actually just finished editing my latest video. I went to Ironbridge yesterday.
Ooh.
I had a little walk up the wharfage just to see kind of what kind of things have been put in place for social distancing. Now the shops are reopening, the pubs and the restaurants and the hairdressers. So I've just finished doing that. So I'm interested to see what reaction I get when I upload that tonight. But yeah, no, I'm very good. How are you both?
I'm good. I'll let Shane start off, because I got a story to tell.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good. I'm just working a lot, as I always say on every single podcast I'm on. I'm always working. And if I'm not working, then I'm always just busy. I'm one of those sort of people that I just can't seem to find 5 minutes in a day just to do anything.
Yeah.
But no, it's been all right. We've got a few. Me and the missus have got a few plans in place for the next sort of. In life you end up with just sort of the next, what's the next thing we're going to do next? What's instead of just coasting through life, what's next? Like, one of the things we're going to do is get her for a driving test, like that kind of stuff.
Next chapter.
And yeah, exactly. So we're looking at moving house, looking at a few other bits and bobs, and yeah, so we're just sort of cracking on with that kind of stuff, really. I'm having the kids quite a lot more at the moment, because of lockdown, and their mum is absolutely drowning in kids. So
how are you finding your at-home teaching skills? Are you quite confident in that area?
I'll be honest, I kind of got away a little bit scot-free, because the kid's mum is doing the majority of it, in all fairness, and she's doing, I will say quite openly, she's doing a sterling job at it as well. Yeah. And whatever is left, my missus picks it up. So because she's far better at doing this sort of stuff than me. So
okay.
so you've
got off lightly.
I'm basically the break time. So I get to go like, oh right, yeah. So you finished doing your work now, right? Come play Xbox for a bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of got the good end of the deal, in all fairness. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've got to give both of them fair kudos, because we had school reports that just come out recently, and both of my kids were absolutely brilliant reports, and I can't be any more prouder. And it kind of gives you that really warm feeling that you are bringing in a decent human being into society. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great.
Even though they're only 7 and 4, I just sort of feel like, fair dues. They're all right. They're doing all right. I might pull my hair out with them. Have you got on a daily basis? But
have you got kids, Brendan?
Yes, actually, I've got some good news. Actually, I recently became a father for the first time in April.
Wow.
Well
So
done.
yes, yeah. So that's a very exciting time. It's obviously a lot of new challenges to face, a lot of new things that are happening in life. But no, it's the most wonderful experience. I can't really describe it in words, to be honest.
You're having lots of first times, then, aren't you, this year? So.
Yeah, a lot of first times, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, when you guys mentioned at the start that the podcast are for the BBC, and I'm actually on BBC Radio Shropshire on Wednesday.
Yes, we got it there first.
Yes,
did it. So it's a midday show. I'm not quite sure what show it is or which presenter it's with, but I'm looking forward to that. But no, you guys definitely got here first, so well done on that one.
Yes, you heard it first here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
when was it when Jim came around my house, Shane? That was a long time ago, right? Because he was like,
oh God.
He was like, you should come on the radio and talk about what you're doing. I was like, yeah, okay, we'll plan something. That was about a year ago.
Is that Jim Hawkins?
Is
it Jim Hawkins?
Yeah. He came around the house.
Absolute legend. Such a nice guy.
I had a meltdown about that because I was like, oh my God, he's from the BBC. And I was like, I need to make this immaculate show. What am I going to talk about? I was writing loads of notes. This is what happens sometimes. Sometimes when I worry about a particular guest. I mean, I've had some big high profile guests on it. It just makes your head go. But then you forget.
Yeah.
Jim Hawkins is from the radio. He's paid to talk. Like he's... It was amazing to talk to. It really was. I will get on the BBC at some point. But if you are listening, BBC, keep up. No. I love anything that. This is what my message is to always been to people that create things and inform people about what's going on around the town, and people with a creative mindset. Do it. Just do it. There's plenty of people out there that will enjoy what you do, and this is why when I saw your video of you walking up the cop, I was just like, this is a good kid. Like this is what we need to be talking to, because I want to encourage that. It's a really important aspect of life. It's been.
I totally agree.
To a point.
It was actually something, a message that Jemima Maddox told us at Comet Salopia, if you remember that, Al. And we asked him the same question. What would you say to somebody who was an aspiring comedian or creator, whatever, artist, whatever? And he just said, just do it.
Just do it.
It's literally what he said. He said, just do it. He said, don't let anybody hold you back. Just do it.
It literally needs to be as simple as that. I mean, I spent so many years, creating different projects in music and in film. And don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed the journey to get to where I am now, to kind of relax a little bit and just, do what I really, really enjoy. But no, I totally agree with you guys that you really cannot, just plan until you end up just not doing anything at all. So yeah, 100%, just do it. Just get out there, press record, press whatever you need to press just to get yourself going, because otherwise you'll never do it.
Yeah.
And just create a backstop. I say create a backstop, because at the moment I am in... I've put myself into a cage of creativity, I'm calling it, because I am just like, I've got projects here, I've got projects there, I've got this, today, I mean, we went to, I'll talk about it more in a second, but we went to the Shropshire Drive-In Festival last night, and I'm putting together a little video. I'm putting like all my clips from my videos, my photos with some of the music and stuff, putting it together. And if anybody's you'll know, because you edit videos, it's not a short job. It's just, it takes quite a bit. And I thought, I had this amazing...
Oh yeah, I mean, editing takes longer than filming.
Oh God, yeah. God. We had Gareth from Rocking Horse Studios, on just Rocking Horse now. And we were talking, because I did a short film festival, a 5-minute video that I made, took me a whole night to edit. And that's because it was for a competition, and I didn't want to look like an idiot, but I did in the end anyway. So, but yeah, creativity is great. You just kind of know your limit, because at the moment I'm kind of like, I've got so much to do and not enough work to work on. So yeah, Brendan, where did this all start then? Why did you want to start showing people what's going on around where you are?
Well, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a starting point in Shropshire. I mean, the whole kind of idea around the channel starting was, I mean, my day job is I work for the ambulance service. And I wasn't really taking advantage of my time off and my free time. So I really wanted an excuse to be able to get out, to visit different parts of the UK, experience different subcultures and foods and all the different towns and cities that we've got in this beautiful country of ours. And it started in December, the idea of just to, go somewhere new every single week, starting off in Shropshire, just to kind of, prove the concept, to see if it did work. We started off with the very first video in Bridge North, and then we did Iron Bridge, and then we did all different parts of Shropshire, going to Bliss Hill, etc. And then we did Chester City, And the whole idea of it was just to get out and just experience life, because I think sometimes when you work full time, you can spend your days off more or less just relaxing, with, not a lot of motivation really. And having that extra excuse to film and be like, right, I've got another video to, obviously upload this week. So I need to get out. I need to go do something. So that was the kind of motivation behind it. And obviously Corona happened and the lockdown happened. And then all those plans of traveling around were kind of put in the dust. So yeah, I had an option then to either, completely quit and give up on the channel, or to, try and take a different scope and try and do more videos that are more Shropshire focused. So it's, so yeah, that's kind of like the life story of the channel so far.
Yeah. It's a thing of beauty when someone takes something like, I mean, YouTube is massive, right? YouTube is huge. It's a bottomless pit of just content, right? From all around the world, from all kinds of different things. So sometimes people can take a look at YouTube and be like, it's just YouTube. Unless you take your channel, what you're doing, and you put a lot of love and a lot of passion into it. And like what seems like you're doing right now is taking your slice, your little corner of YouTube, and turn it into something that you and others will enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think more recently, it's kind of been about exploring the great outdoors within Shropshire, and hopefully giving people that are either shielding or having to self-isolate, due to either health reasons or their age bracket, they can experience these kind of outdoor locations with me as well. And, just kind of get a bit of a mental breath of fresh air from the news and just lockdown in general, really. So, getting the viewers to come along with me is a real benefit.
It's also the other side of it as well. I mean, funny enough, I'd literally been talking about this guy to my missus, and it's a friend of mine that lives out in Laos. He's lived there for ages now, and obviously he used to live in Shrewsbury, and whatnot. And I mean, I think with like your video, you walk up the carp, and I watched it, and turn the camera around, and you just no dialogue, you're just walking through, just looking around, I'm just enabling the viewer to actually see what you're seeing. I mean, the amount of times which my dad's sort of gone like, see old pictures, but I remember that. I remember when that happened, and when that was there, and that didn't used to, that used to be two shops and that kind of stuff. Like whereas with your video, somebody can literally sit there and look at that and think, God, hasn't that changed? Since I remember, and things like that. And you're enabling that. And I think what I liked about that particular video, if you walking up the cop, was the fact that you didn't just ramble, if you know what I mean. You did a bit of dialogue, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to show you now, and you just turned it around, and you're just walking through, and then a bit more dialogue, and then there you go.
Because I think a lot of people, when they start YouTube, I think some people start it maybe with, everyone has the right motivation, but I think you can kind of let your ego go a little bit sometimes. And I think that if I was just to be talking to the camera all the time and be so self-absorbed into this video, not only would the viewers not respond well to it, but it's just not really my style anyway. So I try and incorporate, especially with that video, walking up the cop. There was no kind of music in the background. There was no cinematic B-roll. It was just literally me walking up the cop, showing people a first-hand experience of what they can expect if they were to do the same. And when I got to Pride Hill and looked up, I mean, to be honest, it was a little bit too risky for me to walk up Pride Hill on that day. And I think we all need to take that approach when it comes to, the coronavirus, is that you can make a plan when you start the day. I mean, my plan when I started that day was, right, I'll go into town, I'll walk up Pride Hill, I'll look at this, I'll look at that. But obviously, it's all about making those risk assessments all the time when you're out, and just making these intelligent decisions to make sure that we all stay safe. So I hope that when people watch that video, they could get an impression of what the town centre was like and whether they're going to brave it themselves.
Yeah. And talking about egos, I think it's really important. I think that is really important, not to get swallowed up into that, because it happens so much. It's all, look at me. And we've been talking about... No. Right, okay. We keep getting asked to do an Alex Whiteley episode of the Shrewsbury Biscuit, right, where I'm interviewed, and people, because Martha, who's on the show, she was like, I couldn't find anything about you and where this came from, and somebody else mentioned it, Lorraine Fletcher's mentioned it, and I'm kind of like, no, because that will make me look like an egomaniac. I don't want to do that sort of thing, because my philosophy is, you're the star Brendan, on this show. You're the star, not me and Shane. People want to hear what you have got to say, you know, and that's it's. But some people do get swallowed up into that kind of look at me. It's all about me, you know. It's
no,
quite
100%. I know what you're saying, definitely, and no, I appreciate you guys taking the time to have me on, and I mean, it's the first time I've been called a star, to be fair, so thank you.
The responses I saw on for the Love of Shrewsbury, from the Shropshire, whatever, were all very positive. We're all really positive. So you are a star. You are a star, sir. You know.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll take my podcast bow now.
And you know what Shane was saying earlier is true as well, and also what you were saying about shielding. Is that some people can't get out, you know, and this is one of the reasons why we made the biscuit, is because Margaret 62 can't get out, got arthritis, can't find out what's going on around town, can't go to the flower show, can't go to this, can't go to that. We're going to tell them what's happened, and we're going to give them a little snippet of what's going on, and that's what you did. Did you let people take a walk around Shrewsbury, even though they were scared to do so? That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was little moments in the videos as well where it wasn't just always kind of, you know, Corona focused. It was, you know, little parts of going around different side streets in Shrewsbury town, and some people recognized the locations, which was nice. And I think especially people in local communities, they love to see where they live on camera and on film. And I mean, I'm definitely in that group where if I see a piece of content that is relevant to where I live locally, I'll watch it just for the sake that I can look at it and go, oh, I've walked down there and I've been there and I've done that.
Just, I've sat on that bench.
Exactly, yeah. And it just gives the viewer a bit more of like an inclusive experience, I suppose.
Mm.
Yeah, it is cool. And it's...
Am I the only one, though, by the way? Sorry to cut you off, Al. Am I the only one that will literally watch videos like that, like Brendan's, and then literally start looking in the background trying to spot somebody that you know?
Yeah.
And I'm looking, when you're walking around, I was like, do I know anybody? And I was like,
yeah.
So I could pause it, screenshot it, and be like, just see you on a YouTube video. You know, like, maybe just I'm a big kid. Maybe that's what it is.
I'm also guilty of that. Don't worry, I'm also guilty of
that. But Brendan, the emphasis on your video as well was about COVID-19 and the risks of self-isolation, or social distancing, should I say? That was the wrong word to say. Yeah. Social distancing, and I think the message that we're getting at the moment is, in certain scenarios, it's going to be quite difficult to do so. I mean, like in a town like Pride Hill, how do you social distance people down Pride Hill? You just don't, do you? You know, it's an enigma.
Well, exactly. I mean, there might be certain ways they could implement it in regards to, you know, one-way traffic, you know, where you've got two sides of the street where one person goes up one way and they have to come down the other way. But I mean, it's been a debate for the country really for the last few months of what do they do? Do they balance out the economy, or do they, you know, protect people's health? And it's been such a difficult. I wouldn't want to be in the politician's shoes to try and balance that, because really, as myself, I don't really have too much knowledge on the economy and how it kind of works, really. So yeah, it's a difficult balancing act, but only time will tell on whether we've opened up things too early. But let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that that's not the case.
Well, yeah, I have a solution for Pride Hill, and that's Zorb balls. Like, just push everyone down Pride Hill in the Zorb ball.
Now that is a YouTube video waiting to happen.
Either that or one of those sumo suits. You know, like,
yeah.
One of those.
Like off The Office.
Everyone can just waddle down Pride Hill. Like,
that'd be good.
Or maybe both. Maybe like a mixture of both. So you got, like, you know, a sumo suit like hitting into a Zorb ball.
Make it Shrewsbury version of Wipeout.
I can imagine people like, I know, the great and powerful Stan Sedman rolling down Pride Hill. That was so, oh gosh. Oh. So what did you find in Ironbridge? Did you say you've been, or you're going? You've been?
No, I went to Ironbridge yesterday with my dad. So I actually filmed 2 videos yesterday. I filmed one in Apley Wood, which is just in Apley, which I was quite surprised actually to see that there's such a beautiful place.
Oh, I love that place.
Around the corner from Princess Royal Hospital. Beautiful. And then the second video I shot that day was in Ironbridge. And yeah, we just literally took a free ball walk, you know, me and my dad walking straight through Ironbridge just to see what kind of sights we saw. We saw community support officers out there just, you know, kind of checking in with businesses, making sure things are going smoothly. We saw people that were social distancing well. I spoke to a couple of businesses. I spoke to some staff at the White Hart. in Ironbridge. They said that they had a bit of a queue in the morning before they opened. But largely it's been safe. There's been people social distancing. They're not serving food yet. They're waiting until next week. So yeah, I mean, it seemed to be doing it the right way. I mean, my personal opinion is that the pubs and the hairdressers and all those businesses that are now opening, I personally think that it's a little bit too soon. Just give me a sec, guys. I'm just going to get off this because I've accidentally opened something. There we go. I'm back. Sorry, guys. So my personal opinion is that it's kind of opened up a little bit too soon. But if we are going to open sooner than I would feel comfortable with, at least let's try and do it in the most responsible and
absolutely.
safest way.
We spoke to Jessica from Vanitas Tattoos, who are tattoo studios aren't allowed to open yet. Bearing in mind this is gonna. I'm releasing this next week, so maybe something's happened. I don't know, but I was quite shocked. I mean, I was driving through Shrewsbury last night after the festival, and the social distancing efforts outside certain pubs were appalling. Like the fact that they've gone here, have a few jars, now stay away from everybody. Like you know, it's like Shane it's, when we've had a few beers, it's bring it in, big man. It's
absolutely crazy. I mean,
I spoke to
you're tall, I'm wide.
I spoke to a friend of mine who works for the ambulance service as well. He's currently stationed down in Manchester, and he said some of the scenes that he saw down there last night were absolutely manic. And I think the government has kind of dropped the ball a little bit in regards to trusting the general public as a whole to follow these social distancing rules. I think opinions are mixed. I think you've got half of the population who are thinking it's too early to open up, and you've got the other half that are saying, I want to open up right now. I want to get things back rolling. I want to go shopping. I want to go to the pub. So I don't know. I don't know. I think time will tell on this one. I just hope and pray that we don't lose many more lives in this horrible battle. I mean, some people, like you say, when you saw last night in the town centre, some people seem to be oblivious to the fact that we've lost over 40,000 lives, and it's mental really to see some of the pictures that I saw this morning from last night.
I completely hear you on that one, to be fair. But I mean, as much as it's important to talk about coronavirus and current affairs and stuff, we're actually here to talk about you, Brendan.
Yes.
You said earlier about you've done some various different work in music and video and whatnot, like and film. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I mean, so I started out my musical journey in a recording studio in Birmingham, just as a 6-month kind of intern, just to get the ins and outs of music technology. That company went bust, unfortunately, so that was kind of like the end of that dream. But then what I wanted to do was I wanted to continue that kind of creative process. So I then enrolled at SCAT, Shrewsbury College, and studied on the Roland Music Academy course there with music technology. Did that, and then I decided kind of to set up my own little setup. So I got my own studio set up, and I was able to get my own professional equipment, went round and recorded myself. I was a singer in the music industry a few years back and collaborated with a rapper from Zimbabwe, and that was all interesting. And then I got into the film industry and did some short films and won some awards around the world, and got on Radio Shropshire. Had a chat with Jim in the morning about that, and it's just been a kind of a roller coaster ride really. But to be honest, I mean, I'm not that too proud to say that none of those projects, not one of them, has really massively taken off into the world where it's kind of expelled me to this stardom, if you like. So what I wanted to do was just do something really and just relax and not have to focus too much on perfection all the time, because I think I was so worried on trying to get things absolutely perfect that when I was releasing content, whether it be films or music, it was just months in between these different projects where you've got to get some kind of momentum for people that follow your content. And I think doing this YouTube channel has kind of striked that perfect mix really.
What's the turnover time between recording a video and releasing it for you now with your channel?
Well, like I said, I did the video yesterday in Ironbridge, edited it for a little bit yesterday, started doing some editing this morning as well, and that's just rendering out now. So, I mean, about a 24 hours turnaround, to be fair, and that's just a normal straight walkthrough. If I'm doing something a bit more cinematic, with some gimbals, etc., trying to incorporate some background music. Maybe that could take a couple of days.
Not bad. I mean, like, you know what you're doing. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, we'll just put this here, and then we'll put this in. Let's just see what happens, Just
gonna record a podcast.
And it's a learning curve, isn't it? I mean, like, how long did it take you to learn how to get the editing perfect? Because it does take a while to grasp, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, I started out learning Sony Vegas Pro, which was like the first editing software that I kind of edited films on. And then I quickly moved over to Adobe Premiere, which is like one of the industry standards that a lot of people use. And then, so it's taken me a long time to learn the software more than anything else. I mean, filming, I had the help and the kind of companionship of a friend of mine a few years back now. And we were doing short films together. We made a couple for the BBC, for a couple of BBC Three competitions when BBC Three was on air. Now it's all online. But it's taken me a long time. I think I'm always constantly learning new things all the time. I think the creative process is something that never stops. I mean, I could be on YouTube looking at a tutorial on how to do a certain edit. Tonight, for example, I could be trying to learn something new. So it's a continuous process that I don't think will ever stop, to be fair.
I use a free program called Caden Live because I try to stay away from Adobe because I feel like they've got a monopoly on the whole editing thing, whether it's photos, music, or I feel like they've got a monopoly on there. So maybe one day we were looking at getting that, weren't we, Shane? We're looking at getting Adobe, but
it's on the back burner. I'm on it. I need to just get a decent computer first.
I mean, I find nice. I mean, there's a new one. There's a free version of. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, I mean, there's a free version of Traction waveform now, which was quite expensive piece of software. They saw how popular things like Audacity and all of the free bits that people can use. They saw how popular it became, and they were like, we'll do a free version as well then, and they released it. And to be fair, like, I make some pretty good audio with that, But anyway, are there talk about the competitions that you entered? What competitions did you enter?
Oh wow, there's quite a few. I mean, I won a few competitions from Los Angeles Cinefest, from different ones from Belgium, from Brazil, from France, some in the UK as well, the UK Short Film Festival. And that was a short film raising awareness of mental health, which actually starred my mum, actually, of all people, because she suffers with her mental health. So she suffers from agoraphobia and, certain, aspects of depression and anxiety. And that was kind of like my main solo effort in regards to directing. And I cast all the actors, locally from Shropshire. I had a lady called Lisa Redmond from Oswestry and a couple of other supporting actors. And that was really, really good. But yeah, I mean, it was nothing. There was no major accolades. I can't say I've won Cannes Film Festival,
Grammys.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was a few to get me rolling, and definitely it was an experience. I was invited up to Glasgow to go and present the film to the Scottish Mental Health Awareness Film Festival. So that was a good experience, just to kind of get a bit of training, I suppose, standing up in front of a crowd and giving a speech. So that was interesting.
It's more than what I did.
Wow.
They literally told me at the Real Film Festival that they didn't find my project enjoyable. So that's
really.
They actually said that.
That is harsh. That is harsh.
I didn't know that. That is savage, isn't it?
That is savage.
You kept that to yourself.
Well, that's why I didn't really release it, because I was kind of like, well, what's the point?
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, the
with Tom,
the Groundhog Day type thing. Yeah, that I made.
Didn't find it enjoyable.
I will release it at some point. Because people
that is amazing.
Nobody's like asking for it or anything, but like people are probably wondering what happened.
Just release it for the laugh.
Yeah.
It was the first ever sort of short film I'd ever made, and it was really ambitious as well, because Tom is in Vermont in America, Lucy is down south, and they recorded on their individual devices. I recorded with the H6 Zoom like what we're doing now, pretty much, but made it look as though we were on the phone, right? So the audio that we got from that phone call, I dubbed over their video that they got off their devices. So they sent me the video, I dubbed the audio over it, and we had this conversation going across the world because the rules were you couldn't leave your premises because it was a lockdown rule, right? So you couldn't go anywhere. But the people
that sounds like tedious editing. That does.
Yeah, it was like I said. Right, I saw at 11:30. I started editing. I started editing about 9:30. By 11:30, I realised I'd used the wrong audio on the video, so I had to go back, rip it apart, do it all again. It took me a whole night. Yeah. So the point I'm making is I always do this. I always talk about myself, but relate back to the guest is that. Testament to your talents, you've done a great thing. You've done great things with short films that are actually really difficult to do. People don't realise. So well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm quite modest when it comes to things like that. I mean, they're not like massively huge film festivals. I mean, even though like when you say the word Los Angeles, people are like, oh wow, Los Angeles, but there is 101 film festivals in Los Angeles. So it was definitely a good experience and. It's something I'll look back on and learn from, because I can obviously look back at that film and be quite proud of it. And it's definitely spurred me on to keep on going. And you know what? If it wasn't for me making that film, I might not be doing what I'm doing now. So it's all a journey. It's all a journey.
The journey is the most important thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So what's in your opinion, what's your most sort of proud bit of content? It could be the film, it could be the music, or whatever. What's the most proud bit of the best thing you've done so far, in your opinion?
Honestly, not just because it's current, but it's the YouTube channel. That question of that is the passion project. That is something that when I look back on other things, there were certain motivations, especially within music, that were kind of catered more towards the audience. And content should always be catered towards the audience. But right now, what I'm doing with YouTube, it might sound quite selfish when I say this, but it is content that I really love and enjoy making. And that was the first and foremost, kind of drive in creating this content was that I need to really enjoy it. And if I enjoy it, I will continue on that journey and keep on doing it. Otherwise, it will just fizzle out and I'll get bored and I'll get into this niche that I don't want to be in. And then the audience might love it, but I'd be a fake person on camera and I don't want to do that. So definitely the YouTube channel is something that I really, really enjoy making. It's my kind of passion really at the moment. So yeah, definitely most proud of the YouTube channel.
Is there any particular video that's like the best, or is it just the channel in general?
Well, I would say the one I enjoyed most was at Bliss Hill. Now that was when I first started and I was filming on some slightly not quite as good equipment that I'm filming on now. So I was filming on like a 30 quid handy cam kind of thing, just to kind of get the premise out there for the channel. But honestly, Bliss Hill was a great experience. It was me and a friend of mine called Kurt who went there and experienced it, and we had some traditional beef dripping, fried fish and chips, and that was amazing. I love food. That's one of the main motivations for this channel, because I'm literally guided by my stomach. And one of the best things about that video was we went into one of the costume departments where a lot of the guests and customers can go and get their photo taken in Victorian outfits. And I just cheekily said to the lady, I said, look, what are the chances of me and Kurt being able to dress up in something that you've got in the back and just walk around the town? Because no one's ever done that before. No one's ever actually got dressed up, obviously apart from the staff, but no customers of such have actually got the costumes to dress in to walk around the Victorian town. And they just said, yeah, go ahead, do it. So I was dressed up as I was dressed up in top hat and tails, and Kurt was dressed up as a Boer War soldier, which was really funny. So we just literally walked around the town and saw these customers looking at us with like really weird faces because they've just seen me walking around with a camera thinking, who's this plonker talking to a stick? And then they see us, walking around in these outfits and think, how the hell have they winged that?
Yeah, still with the camera in the hand.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a really funny video to make. That was a really good one.
Fair dues.
I was just sharing
I'm going to have to look for that now.
On social media. I love what you do. I'm not going to say... I keep saying on the show, what you do is what you do. I think what you do is fantastic. That's the thing I say. After editing my own audio, I hear it about 3 or 4 times through one episode. I think what you do is fantastic. That's the one thing I do. Are there any behaviours that you've had to teach yourself not to do? Ahs, laughs. What?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, when I first started, I was making loads of mistakes. So, like when I was making the first videos, a lot of a lot of R's. I mean, I can kind of recollect in this conversation that we've been having, for the first podcast, I probably said a couple too many. But yeah, when I first started filming, I had a real problem looking directly into the lens of the camera, and I was a bit kind of shy to kind of look directly into the camera and address the audience directly. I was just kind of taking the camera along with me, just on this kind of random walk when I first started. But yeah, there's a lot of things I've had to learn. I've had to learn as well that when I first started and I was trying to like train myself into kind of how to vlog, to also turn the camera around as well. And going back to the point I made earlier about not being kind of self-absorbed and trying to get myself out of that momentum of, there's nobody in the world that cares more about my content than I do. So people watching me talk to the camera, they don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. They don't know what I've done in the past. And to be honest, a lot of those viewers at the very start were probably quite bored, because they wanted to see around me. I was talking about certain things and I wasn't showing them all the experiences that I was experiencing. So
yeah,
definitely when I've spoken about certain subjects in a video, to then say, right, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you guys what I'm looking at, and just turn it around, give them some time to be able to take in what I've just seen and essentially give them the same experience that I've had. So that was probably the main thing I've learned, is just to learn how to turn the camera around. I know it sounds crazy and really simple, but when you're in the flow of talking, and you can sometimes forget what's the most important to the viewer and the listener.
I can remember my uncle saying to me once, he was a recruitment agent, and he actually said to me once in an interview, he says, "You're going to learn when to shut up." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, yeah." He said, in any walk of life, really, in many different applications, he says, one of the hardest skills to learn, he said, is knowing when to just zip it and just keep your mouth shut and just let something else happen, or somebody else have a chance to speak, or like you said, turn the camera around to allow the audience to take in what you can see, and it's relevant to lots of different things. But yeah, it's one of the things I've took with me for quite a few years now, is got to know when to shut up. I don't always do it, mine, but
yeah, it does. What are you on about?
But it's there. It's in my head. I get it.
But to be fair, Shane, you've had people asking you when you're going to be back on the show. I saw a few screenshots of people being like, "When are you back on the show? We haven't heard of you for a while, Shane." People have been missing you. So
Well, when you're like this, mate, when you got so much talent, it just oozes out of you, and you just can't help it. It is what it is.
Speaking
effortless,
of, we all have our skills. We all have our skills, right? And behind the mic, I'm a god, right? I feel like I can do anything. I feel behind the microphone, the confidence oozes out of me, and I become a completely different person, right? An example of how quickly I can go from god to puny creature was last week with Martha Lily. Actually, we had this. What I was talking about at the beginning, I accidentally threw an F-bomb in because I was so comfortable behind the microphone. I was really enjoying myself. And afterwards, she goes, "I'm going to do something for my vlog." And she whips up her phone. And she's like, "Hi, I'm at the Shrewsbury Biscuit." And I was kind of like, "Hi." I was really awkward and shy. And that so what you do, Brendan, is something I can't. I keep telling the team, we need to do more with IGTV. We need to, do some vlogs and to show people aspects of our lives. But I climb up in front of a camera. So what you do is brilliant, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it is difficult, especially when I first started. I think, to be honest, if I was in that situation where, I was just expecting, a vocal interview with somebody on a podcast, and they suddenly whipped out a camera and started
she asked. She did. Martha, honestly, I'm not telling people you just whipped it out. Don't worry. She did ask. But even though I knew it was coming, I was still kind of like, oh my god, the festival last night, Timmy, I gave him the camera. Timmy, my little boy, he's 5, you just see him in the background, and he was he recorded me dancing. I was like, stop. Because it's a different world.
I'll be looking out for that footage when you release that video. Make sure you keep that footage in, all right?
I did. I've put a bit of it in, but I cut out the bit where I'm like, I don't like dancing. Stop it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm assuming he's probably taken out the slut drop anyway. So
The slut drop. Just ain't me, darling. It just ain't me. Brendan, tell people.
To be fair, I mean, go on.
No,
Sorry.
go on. If you've got one more question to ask, do it.
No, it's just more of, sort of a question. I mean, it's something which I've wanted to do. I've talked to my missus quite a bit, and I've been like, maybe I should start vlogging, but like, not in any particular subject. Yours is quite sort of.
Been to work today. I've been to work today again. Yesterday I was in work. Today I'm in work again.
That's what I mean. I don't. My life isn't that interesting. So like, it's just like I don't know. I don't really know how. I think I would enjoy it if I was to start doing a vlog and doing whatnot. But I don't think. I always think the first thing that comes into my head as soon as I think about it is my life isn't that interesting. No one's actually going to watch.
You say that, but the thing is, some of the most successful YouTube channels out there, and to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of them, to be fair, and I won't name certain channel names, but some of the biggest channels out there, vlog channels in particular, tend to be just people just going around their daily life, going shopping at Tesco, going, doing the gardening, something. It's that kind of stuff that people just tend to just want to watch. I mean, it's crazy, really. But I mean, I'm trying to stay away from that. I mean, I did one live a couple of weeks back where I was doing a homemade recipe for chicken wings, and literally, it was a funny video, and the viewers enjoyed it just to have that interaction, live. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, you might think that your life is boring compared to these, big YouTube stars, but in all honesty, everybody just lives a normal life, and some people enjoy watching it. If you've got slick editing, if you've got really good graphics on the screen, if there's no dead air while you cutting your videos together, you'd be surprised what you can make. But I don't think my channel will probably ever get to that point, because I always want to give some kind of subject matter. Give someone, give the viewers something that they can't already do themselves, or at least not easily anway.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Maybe I should give it a go.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Do you know what? Just do it. Just go ahead and do it.
Just do it.
Shia LaBeouf would say, "Just do it."
Just do it. And I've got two words for you, Shane. The Office. They took something as boring as a day-to-day job in a paper factory and turned it into a massive franchise. The American version was perfect, perfect TV. So, and you know what? In essence, this isn't in any disrespectful way at all, Brendan, but you're walking up a hill. And people are loving that. People are walking up the hill as well across the other side of the road, and they may not feel like them walking is interesting, but it is. And you know what, Shane? Yeah. I feel like if you did like a day-to-day sort of vlog, things that you're doing, people would be interested because they want to compare it to their lives. Simple.
Here's a question for you. With you mentioning what you said about The Office, which version do you prefer, the British version or the American
version? Hands down, absolutely, 100%.
Right, I'm just going to cut this short, guys. I'll see you again. All right?
The American version.
I like both.
No. After seeing the American version, I think it blows the British version out of the water. It's the rare occasion.
I'm assuming then, given that answer, you're not a big fan of Ricky Gervais?
I love Ricky Gervais. I think he's great. I think he's awesome. Yeah. But the thing is, it's the rare occasion where a British TV show has gone over to America and actually done better. They didn't do a very good job with the In-Betweeners or... Shameless, I think, is grabbing some sort of momentum now, but I don't think it's anywhere, But I think Ricky Gervais is a better writer than he is a performer. The rare occasion it was that Netflix show he's just done, Afterlife, was fantastic, beautiful, and I hate him for making me cry so much at a TV show, but he did. Last season ruined me. But yeah,
that was a great show.
Okay, so I want to cover something that we did last night, yesterday, which it was. I'm still feeling the love from it. I really am. Now, this might freak you out a little bit, Brendan, because I know that you're very cautious about what's going on with COVID-19. But I went to a festival last night. Whoa!
Wow, that sounds very adventurous.
Yeah, it was. So Shropshire Festivals put together a drive-in festival, and it's exactly what it sounds like. So you got the drive-in movie. But this is what it was with a festival, big stage and stuff. I'm currently putting together a video, which I'll release on Facebook and Instagram. But it was fantastic. I had so much fun. So the premise is We booked our tickets. You book via your car, so you pay for per car. And I think the price has gone up now because this first one was just like a test, and it sold out in 2 days. 2 days it completely sold out.
Wow.
There were
That's a good result.
about 250 cars there, 17 rows. You turn up, you're directed to your spot. We were in row 2, which is near the front, which was great. And you have your own box. Like, it's like literally drawn out in white lines. You have a box, and there's enough space for you to park on the left-hand side, and outside your driver's side, you have your own little garden, I guess, your own little space where you can set up chairs and stuff, and nobody else is allowed in your space. And this thing went back for like, I went to the toilets, which were at the back, and you can just see these rows and rows and rows of cars. But what they do is all the music that's coming off the stage, they give you a frequency on the radio, and you can crank your stereo up, and you can listen to it on the radio and enjoy it with everyone else. It was amazing.
And that's the way it should be. I think if we're going to get back into the entertainment industry is going to get back, starting again. That is the way it should be. I mean, from what you've just described, it sounds as if at all times you felt perfectly safe.
Oh yeah, and the best thing is as well, if you want food, there were food stalls along the side, and you order via the Zoom food app, and it comes to your car.
Oh wow, that's great. What kind of food was there?
There was pizza, burgers. There was all sorts of hickories was there. It was amazing. It was good. We couldn't eat any because I'm a keto warrior, so I was like, I'll just have nuts. Like, they gave,
that would have been absolute torture for me.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't care though because the music was so good. There was okay. I need to remember the name of the bands. There was the Vertigo band, the Ego Warriors, and the Dirty Rocking Scoundrels. And they all had their own individual styles, but I gotta say, the Dirty Rocking Scoundrels at the end absolutely blew everyone away. They had so much fun. It was like, I'm gonna come out into the audience now and meet you all individually. If you got a Volkswagen, beep your horn. He's met them. If you got a Vauxhall, beep your horn. So he went round the crowd, letting people beep their horns. He had people sticking their legs out of the car windows, doing like dancing and stuff. I said eco-friendly.
You said Ego Warriors.
Did I say Ego Warriors? And my wife's just proved me wrong. It's Ego. I'm sure it's Ego Warriors.
It's
Ego-friendly. You sure? Okay, Ego-friendly. Shout out to Ego-friendly. No.
Production crew fact check.
Thanks, Kaz.
Fantastic. I recommend. They've got so many coming up. They've got driving comedy, so stand-up comedy. They've got a circus one coming on, and I think Beth Heath from Shropshire Festivals and the team there did an amazing job. It worked perfectly. My family had so much fun, and like, there's plenty of footage of me spinning the camera around, and you see people standing in their cars, on the roof of their cars, dancing. The kids standing in the sunroof, waving their arms. It was just amazing. So magical, really.
That's great. And, I think not only have the audience really enjoyed that, but the people that are performing on stage, all those bands that would have regularly been touring around the country or different gigs here and there, to have that release again of being able to perform in front of a crowd would have been so exhilarating for them. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fantastic all-round experience, really. And I totally advocate all of these businesses, entertainment or anything else opening up, as long as they can put the measures in place. And it sounds as if from your account that they did that. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And Julie,
I think that can go, to be fair. I wish I did, but I've got a 4-month-old baby, and I think it would have been just too much for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and the thing is as well, I saw Carrie from the Wellbeing Festival. Her car was 2 cars back. I could see it because she's got a big logo on the side, Wellbeing Festival. And I couldn't go and give her a hug and say hello. And that was a frustrating thing. Julie was working it as well. Our Julie, she volunteered. Well done, Julie. And every time I saw her, she was I nearly swore then. She was finding other orifices to breathe out of, because she was running back into helping with food, helping direct people. But it was nice to see her there. But she did a good job volunteering. And most of the people that were there were volunteers as well, because they want to see Beth do well, because she brings amazing things. I was at a press conference 2 days ago on Zoom. And Beth Heath got brought up, and I was like, as we speak, she's literally putting dinosaurs on the car park of the parade. because that's the
Wow.
crazy thing she does. She's brilliant. And I'll always chat about her because she's great. But yeah, it was fantastic. And so Shane, if you'd have come, we couldn't have like given each other a bro high five anyway, you know.
No, I could have like flicked peanuts at your face though. That could have been fun.
It was good.
You know, like in the cinema where you throw popcorn at each other, like, you know, yeah, I'd be flicking peanuts from the car, like, yeah, a bit like battle tanks, like flicking them out the windows of the cars at each other.
That's a very Shane,
That's what we could have done.
very Shane thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brendan, you've been an amazing guest. I've loved talking to you. Because I love talking to other creators about what they do, because you're doing something that I'm not very comfortable doing, and that's like showing my face an awful lot, in all honesty. So keep doing what you're doing. What is the future for you guys? Say lockdown's released, what's the plan?
Yeah, well, thanks very much for having me on. And to be honest, the future scope for the channel, once lockdown's kind of been lifted and it's all safe again, which, you know what, it could be some time, but for the distant future, it's to travel around the rest of the UK, experiencing all these little lovely towns and cities, trying the different food, showing the beautiful landscapes that we can take advantage of in this country, and eventually to take the channel abroad. I mean, that is kind of like the long-term goals, but short-term, I'm going to be mainly focusing on the local area. I might venture a little bit outside Shropshire in the coming weeks and months, but mainly it's going to be, you know, videos focused on Shropshire. So for anyone listening that is from Shropshire and wants to kind of experience the great outdoors with myself and some other people that will come on the blog in the future, then yeah, by all means tune in.
Well, I'll be up for that, to be fair. I'll be up to going out somewhere. I don't know about Al. But I'd definitely be up for that. Shrewsbury Biscuit, we can do like a collaboration video, because that could be quite cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. I say these things. I say
get Al on the camera and make him dance.
I say these things. I got to drive through it on this one. I say it's because I was shouting and singing last night. I say these things, but like Chris Shirk, who does Shrewsbury From Where You're Not, he's always been like, "Oh yeah, we can find some old abandoned building we can do a podcast from." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do it." Have we done it, Shane?
No.
I plan these things, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I got so much to do." Like, I didn't speak to you for like 3 days, Brendan, and I feel so bad about it. But that's because I've had the worst 3 days. Friday we did an interview in the studio via Zoom, and the internet was just like wasn't working. The microphones were playing up, so she couldn't hear us. And then Dee Dee had parked in the wrong place, so they're banging on the door saying you need to move your car. Rightly so. So I was a bit stressed out about that. Saturday for What's the Difference, part of the USUK show I do, I was speaking to Ben Butler, and right as he was getting into his most important part of his interview, my H6 filled up and cut off. So I had to I just had this terrible, like, and I've been editing as well. It's been crazy. So I'm sorry.
Sounds like a good day.
Oh, it's me overstretching. That's what it is. I need to learn. But yeah, you've been a fantastic. Where can people find your blog? Tell people where you are on social media.
So yeah, it's very, very easy. You can either search on YouTube or on Facebook. If you just type in Brendan James Vlog, and it's Brendan spelt with an A-N instead of an O-N, and you'll find all the videos straight away. It's the first thing that comes up either on Facebook or on YouTube. And there's different playlists on there from Shropshire, from different videos that people might want to get interested in. So yeah, so by all means go and search it, and I look forward to seeing the people on the channel.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Shane, you got anything to add?
No. That's it. I've asked everything I wanted to ask.
That's nice seeing you on the show.
And I'm gonna go and start vlogging. This is me making my shreddies in the morning. And now I'm going to play Elder Scrolls for 5 hours.
Hey man,
no cuts.
That's a big
guys,
business.
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great experience to lose my podcast virginity with you guys, and hopefully I can come on again in the future and chat about updates.
Yeah, I'd love that. I'd love that. Absolutely. Oh, listeners, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, and you've got any comments to throw at us, we've got an email address, and our email address is shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com. And also you can visit our website, which contains all of our audio. You can listen to it directly off the website if you're not a big fan of iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. See how I did that? That's clever. And our website is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. That website is made for us by our best friends at Web Orchard. They make amazing websites. If you need a website for your business or for whatever you're doing, or your vlog, Make sure you give them shout them out. This has been amazing, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
On the flip side.